Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narasimhan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has inaugurated the first Hindu temple in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. And this is the BAPS temple in Abu Dhabi. It was on the 5th of April 1997 that Pramukh Swami Maharaj first envisioned the vision for a Hindu temple in the UAE. It was on 10th February 2018 that the Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan gifted land for the construction of the Mandir. On the 20th of April 2019, the foundation stone was laid by Mahant Swami of the BAPS. And now, today, on the 14th of February 2024, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has inaugurated the Mandir. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BAPS connection goes back, way back to 1981, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi was a pracharak of the RSS. In April 1981, PM Modi attended one of the programs of Pramukh Swami, and that's where the relation of what they call as a father and son, equivalent to a father and son, began. Because it's interesting that the invitation that was submitted to the Prime Minister inviting him for the inauguration itself said Priya Putra. Pramukh Swami told Prime Minister that their fate is similar and they have to serve the nation till they breathe their last. And from then on, PM Modi's connection with the BAPS actually continues. Joining me now in the studio is Brajesh Singh, our editor, Convergence. All that I have shared with you right now, ladies and gentlemen, is courtesy his information, and he spent a beautiful piece on moneycontrol.com. Do read that. But as Brajesh Kumar Singh joins us live, Siddhant Mishra is at the BAPS temple in Abu Dhabi. Ambassador Kanwal Sibal is with us. Dr. Tara Karta is with us. And also Yogi Trivedi, author and also integral part of the BAPS, is with us. Siddhant, first let's quickly get a word from you. How has it been so far? It looks beautiful behind you, the temple. The evening should be setting towards in Abu Dhabi. What's going to happen next?
Well, Anand, to be very honest, it was a very, it was kind of a blessing to be here in Abu Dhabi today, Anand, as we were listening to bhajans being played in the deserts of Arabia at the time of Pran Pratishtha, and also along with the Sanskrit shloka, the location which priest mentioned at the time of Pran Pratishtha was Abu Dhabi, something which all of us would have never imagined to happen in life. Right now, Anand, the inauguration ceremony is over. Pran Pratishtha of Bhagwan has got over. Prime Minister Modi will be addressing the BAPS devotees, the devotees of Bhagwan, in some time from now. This is what we have been told. And this Mandir, this temple, will be thrown open for the people on 18th of February. So devotees can come. Right. We'll try to speak to sir. आप आएंगे एक बार आनंद नरसिम्हन के बात करें. आप कहाँ से आए आप लोग? लोग राजस्थान के रहने वाले हैं। आप इधर आइए, इधर आइए। मंदिर का काम हमने किया। इन्होंने मंदिर का काम किया है। आनंद, ये राजस्थान के रहने वाले हैं। श्रमिक्स, प्राइम मिनिस्टर मिलते हैं। प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब से मिले? बिल्कुल मिला। अच्छा लगा? क्या बोले? खुश हो गए। चेहरा देखकर ऐसा लगा कि वो काफी। श्रमिकों के साथ प्रधानमंत्री ने खुद भी हथौड़ी चलाई और वासुदेव कुटुंबकम लिख डाला। बहुत महत्वपूर्ण संदेश दिया आप लोगों के साथ खड़े होकर प्रधानमंत्री ने। कितना भावुक क्षण है आपके लिए, क्योंकि इतनी गर्मी में, इतनी तपती धूप में आप लोगों ने काम किया। आज तक कोई हिंदुस्तान का प्राइम मिनिस्टर नेता ने आज तक कोई ऐसी मुलाकात ली नहीं। अब पहली बार है जो मोदी से हम मिले। धूप में बड़ा दिक्कत होता था अबू धाबी में काम करना, मुझे बताया श्रमिक भाइयों ने। लेकिन जो गए साल ये चमत्कार हुआ। हाँ, आइए आप भी आइए। शुरू में जब हम आए थे यहाँ नवंबर 2021 में, जैसे मंदिर का ओपनिंग हुआ, हाँ, और ये पर होने लगा है। So there you see, Anand, you know, the excitement with the Shramik. They were especially invited today to meet the Prime Minister Modi, and in fact, they all were chanting bhajans of Bhagwan, and perhaps they had a great time here.
There are so many stories, Siddhant, that I have to bring in Brajesh Kumar Singh here, even as Yogi Trivedi joins us. Brajesh, you've written a phenomenal piece there where you say ki the pen with which Prime Minister Narendra Modi signs his nomination papers was a gift by Pramukh Swami ji.
Yes, this first started way back in 2002. Modi when he became the Chief Minister of Gujarat in the month of October 2001, and as per the constitutional provision, he was to fight the very first election in his life for himself, and he opted Rajkot 2 Assembly constituency, and before going for the nomination, he wanted to take the blessings of Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who was always his guide. So, as his prasadi, Pramukh Swami Maharaj had given a pen and instructed to file the nomination with that particular pen. And after that, in each and every election, be it 2002 December election or the election in 2007 or 2012, or even as PM candidate in 2014, when he filed his nomination from Vadodara or from Varanasi, he used the same pen. After the Pramukh Swami Maharaj's death, again it was a tradition. In fact, Pramukh Swami Maharaj got the Brahmalini position in 2016, precisely on 13th of August. After his death, his successor, the current head of the BAPS sect, the Mahant Swami Maharaj, he had sent the pen to file the nomination in 2019. So this tradition, this very special bonding with the BAPS still
It
there.
continues 13th August 2016, the passing on, if you were to say, or Brahmalin when Pramukh Swami Maharaj. 14th August 2016, that landmark speech from the ramparts of the Red Fort, and from there he flies straight across to offer his homage, and he breaks down into tears there. So that's also the thing that you have documented. But the interesting part is, in this one, we were talking to the Shramiks, Siddhant was talking to the Shramiks. There's a story there also in terms of finding the stone with which these beautiful temples of Akshardham have been built, and there is a connection to Ramlala Virajman in Ayodhya also, Brajesh.
Yes, Anandji. In fact, it was Pramukh Swami Maharaj who used the red stone temple from Rajasthan for the very first time for the construction of a temple in this country. The Akshardham temple in Gandhinagar, which got constructed in the 90s, it was Pramukh Swami idea to use the red stone temple from the Rajasthan, and it was Pramukh Swami who suggested the use of the same red stone for the Ayodhya Ramlala temple. And another interesting thing, the architect who designed the Akshardham temple in Gandhinagar, it was the same architect who designed the Ramlala Mandir in Ayodhya. So that's the common connection.
Yeah, so many connections. There is a gift of a kurta pajama that goes to 7 LKR from the BAPS every year. You've documented that too. I'll come back to some more very interesting behind the scenes stories about PM Modi's connection with the Bochasanwasi. Bochasan itself is a place in Gujarat, so that's where the first Akshardham temple was built. So that's the BAPS connection for Pramukh Swami. Yogi Trivedi is also with us. Yogi ji, namaste. You are in Abu Dhabi. How has it been so far? And how beautiful is the temple? So from Robbinsville in New Jersey to Abu Dhabi.
I remember just a few short months ago, I was live with you and we were talking about the Mandir in Robbinsville. And I told you, I don't think there's a Mandir like this anywhere that I've seen. You know very well that I've been to about 70 countries and had the fortune to have darshan in 1,500 or so Mandirs as a part of my scholarship and my work as a journalist. But I have never seen a Mandir. Now I'll say it again, Anand, and this time you'll have to believe me again. I have never seen a Mandir like this anywhere in the world where two Sanskritis can come together in the way that they do here. A word that you will hear when you walk around the campus, and I'm sure Prime Minister Narendra Modi heard it from Brahma Vihari Swami's mouth earlier this afternoon, just a few minutes ago while he was walking around the campus, the word harmony. Now, harmony is not just something that's talked about here. Harmony is something that you see in the stones behind me. As you walk around the Mandovar or the outer wall of the Mandir, you will see that there are just as equally the Hindu Sanatan Sanskriti that is embedded into the Shilpa. In the same way, you will see the Arabic Sanskriti as well. You will see camels alongside the elephants. Alongside the lotuses, you will see the flower and fauna of the Arabic Sanskriti here. And then along with the lessons from the Ramayana, Mahabharata, the Upanishads, the Vedas, and the various other granthas, the Itihasa granthas and the Puranas of our Sanskriti, Hindu Sanatan Sanskriti, you will also see carved into the sides of the temple ancient civilization fables and stories that you can learn from universal values of tolerance, love, and of course harmony.
No, it's phenomenal, and you also have had the Ashirwad of Pramukh Swamiji. So I think it's a special moment where there are people who have had the opportunity to associate with him, and there is something landmark that's happening. 1,500 temples. There was a simultaneous aarti that also happened a short while ago. But Ambassador Kanwal Sibal ji, the fact that the UAE has actually given this perennial protection, made it a sovereign law that this temple should never be disrupted or destroyed. That is also significant. And from land, right from the middle of the desert to a full temple inauguration, it's all happened in 7 years.
I think it is absolutely remarkable. Of course, the credit must go to our Prime Minister for having raised this issue with the Emir, got his immediate consent, and the temple finally has been built and inaugurated. But the credit must also go to UAE and to the Emir. Look at the massive change of mentality in UAE, moving away from conservatism or how should I say, fundamentalism and things like that, and becoming a modern society. This has very important implications for our relations, overall relations with the Islamic world. Because the Islamic world or the key countries, the Gulf monarchies, are moving in a totally different direction. They are moving away from Islamic radicalization and the kind of Islam that Turkey is now backing, or Pakistan is backing, or the Taliban is backing. So they want to modernize themselves. They have plans for 2030 of development, of becoming modern, of being very investor friendly, where people come and feel culturally at ease. They don't feel they've come to a conservative Islamic country where their own values may clash with local values. And they know that as time goes on with climate change and everything else, they have to look for different ways of sustaining themselves, because hydrocarbons and all that are not going to sustain their economies in the long run. But this is absolutely remarkable. And the other thing is that you've had the inauguration of the Ram Temple in India, where there has been some controversy locally here and there from elements that you know very well. And what is the signal that comes from Abu Dhabi? That Prime Minister is inaugurating a new temple in the heart of the Islamic world.
Yes.
It's a very powerful political message apart from anything else. And I think hats off to both our Prime Minister and the Emir of UAE. And this is going to actually to ease the life of our community, the cultural life of our community in this part of the world where we have 8 million or so people. So this example that UAE has set is going to be infectious. And we already see a huge change in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if Saudi Arabia is ready to accept a Hindu temple, but you never know. You never know.
Well, Dharm rises in the desert is one of the comments that I've got here. So I'm just quoting that, and quite interesting that Dharm is not unique to any particular faith or panth. Dharm is that that is going to sustain society, sustain humanity, and that's the perception. Now, if there is going to be a greater hint of tolerance or a greater smattering of it, and perhaps a greater cultural exchange, modernization, or shift towards moderate way paths in core fundamentalist or Islamic groups or nations which were not tolerant to any other faith, or perhaps it historically hinged on the destruction of the other for their own self-rise. It's all welcome, because that means we are only going to be far more in harmony. And as Yogi Trivedi was mentioning, there is harmony in the walls there, the way it's been coded or script, as it's been made. Taraji, before I come to you, just one quick question to you, Brajesh Singh, if I may ask you, the Prime Minister and Pramukh Swami, how did their association happen? And there was a certain warmth, the way he embraced Brahm Bihari ji and walked in. It looked like he's going to his own home. And the invitation card also says Priya Putra. Now, why is that salutation Priya Putra? What's the importance of that?
In fact, in the month of December, when the Brahm Bihari Swami and another very senior Swami from the BAPS order, the Ishwar Charan Swami, when they went to 7 LKM to meet Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister, to invite him to inaugurate this temple. On the invitation card, it was clearly addressed in Gujarati because this
there we have
it originates from Gujarat, and even Pramukh Swami, he was very, very conversant in Gujarati. So, Pramukh Swami na Priya Putra Modi Sahab. So, this relation, it got started way back in 1981. 1981 was the year when this bicentenary celebration of Lord Swaminarayan, it got organized in Ahmedabad by this same BAPS.
Okay.
The
I'm
Pramukh
just
Swami
going to
Maharaj.
walk across here onto our screen here. This is the invitation that we have.
So the Pramukh Swami Maharaj.
And this says Priya Putra Modi
Yeah.
Sahib. This is Priya Putra Modi Sahib. Pramukh Swami na Priya Putra Modi Sahib.
Basically, it's
written in English, but it's Gujarati
Pramukh
expression.
Swami ke Priya Putra Modi Sahib.
Modi Sahib.
Yeah.
So this is the invitation. That's how it is by BAPS Hindu Mandir. So you're saying this originated back in 81?
Yeah, so this relationship, it got started way back in 1981. Basically, it was the period of March, April 1981. It was the occasion of bicentenary celebration of Lord Swaminarayan, the founder of the Swaminarayan order. And the BAPS was the organizing body. There was a huge pandal as well as a nagar on the banks of the river Sabarmati. And in those days, Narendra Modi, he was a senior pracharak of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh in Ahmedabad as Vibhag pracharak for Ahmedabad, this Gandhinagar and Sabarkantha districts, And for the very first time, he met Pramukh Swami Maharaj. Obviously, he was in the feet of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. That's the usual custom. And Mr. Modi, he has the leanings towards the spirituality, as you know, his initial life.
Yeah, so, he almost took up.
Exactly. So, the path. Typical expression when they first met, the Pramukh Swami Maharaj, it was a very chaste Gujarati, कि तारा અને મારા બંનેમાં એક જ કમન છે કે આખા જીવન આપણે બીજાને સર્વિસ કરવાનું છે કે in your and my life, only one thing is common, that we both have to serve the society.
Service,
Yeah, we have to serve the society, we have to give the service. So, that was the very initial connect, and in fact, you have just spoken about the Swami Brahma Bihari Swami. In fact, the 1981 was the year when Brahma Bihari Swami, who is the most visible face of the BAPS order in last several years.
To the PM's left of the pictures there,
basically, he is accompanying the Prime Minister during the entire function. So, Brahma Bihari Swami got initiated in the BAPS order in the 1981 in the same function itself.
In the same
so, that's a special connect they have.
So they go back to 1981, where one is told that your lines and my lines show that we have got to commit ourselves to service, and Brahma Bihari Swami, who's now the main pravakta there of BAPS, gets initiated. Dr. Tarakarta, but is this going to initiate perhaps greater maitri between the Middle Eastern nations and Bharat? The talk of the economic corridor, the Abraham Accords, you think this is get some momentum, or there will be a far more greater cultural integration? What's the impact that this is going to have in the future for us?
I love that story about Pender. I think that was marvelous. I never knew that. And this whole connection from 1981, that is amazing. So, there is, this is mind-boggling when you think about it, Anand, that you have a temple there. And as Yogi Trivedi said, a temple which has all the inscriptions from everywhere, including, this is inclusivity on a scale from a very confident leadership. That is these people have the ability to, they've literally shifted 360 degrees, and this is what they're doing now. Amazing. So that is definitely going to filter elsewhere. Because there's a whole bunch, or practically the whole of India would be watching this ceremony and understanding its significance of, sheer humanity. This is what Modiji's message is. Vasudeva Kutu, the world is one. That's what he's been saying all along. And this has always been his point. But if I can shift just a little bit.
Yes.
Also a strategic imperative here, okay? You remember the whole I2U2, that part, and the way that we have come forward. Oh, by the way, I am pretty sure with this temple coming just before the elections, the ties between the two leaders are going to be huge. But strategically, we can provide the food security which the UAE needs. They provide us the fuel, and this has been in the works for years. This government has taken it forward with that whole, issue of hopefully, I think I just heard that the food park initiative in Gujarat is going to begin.
Yes.
This financial year, I think the funds have been allocated. It's a fantastic initiative. We're talking of farmers' protests here. This is so beneficial for farmers. It's a huge thing. So strategically, that's there. Plus, they are also part of the Indian Navy was there last year on a friendly visit. So there's a lots of layers to this, where the two countries share a common vision of what this part of the world should look like. I think it's fantastic, amazing.
Which are the temples which find representation there in the premises? Yogi Trivedi, if you could take us through. And there was a Sarvadharm presence there also. And that photo op was beautiful right outside at the Prangan or the courtyard area. Yes, Yogi Trivedi.
The one thing that is very obvious to me is that there's a true Sanatan representation here. So when you walk around the campus, and specifically when you get inside the Mandir and you look at the different Garbhagrihes, there are 7 to be precise. And all 7 of them represent sacred deities from different parts of the subcontinent, of Bharat. So any Hindu who comes here finds a sense of belonging, finds a murti or a shrine that they can go to, a Garbhagriha, where they feel very comfortable in the way that they pray. So for example, there's a Jagannatha Bhagavan, then Radha Krishna Bhagavan, Shiva Parvati Ji. I can keep going on and on and on. Even Ayyappa Swami. So there's a representation here that really proves that this is a Sanatan Hindu Mandir beyond any Sampradayavad or beyond any sort of sectarianism.
What is the feature that you liked that you're rating this temple above Robbinsville? Let me put you in some
I wouldn't
trouble
say
there.
it's above. I wouldn't say it's above because Robbinsville is home for me, very close to New York. But I will say that the uniqueness of this mandir, is very clear. That it is something that this kind of, you have to come here to understand what kind of harmony is happening here. Huh? This is not something that can be talked about. I'm walking around the campus and you see sheikhs. You see sheikhs in their traditional Emirati attire, and they're taking in the beauty. They're going inside and viewing the murtis. I mean, this is something that is unheard of, that I didn't think that I would get to see in my lifetime. So that is something that really sticks out to me.
True. If stars align and things fall in place, I should be in Abu Dhabi. And one of the things on my list, if I'm there, eventually is to visit this temple and see it in person. That is something which we've seen Akshardham here in Delhi. We've seen a lot of the temples which the BAPS makes, and there is something which is beautiful in terms of integration of different sampradayas, different cultures coming together. Brajesh Kumar Singh is still with us. What's expected now? The Prime Minister has dedicated 3 hours to this monumental achievement that's happened. It's been built from desert to its final form in 7 years, Brajesh. And how much does it cost? Has it cost?
Officially, it's around 700 crores, but obviously you can't evaluate the labor and the cohesiveness of all the...
And the shram is volunteer work.
Exactly, the BAPS volunteers work. For example, if you look at the construction of this Akshardham temple in Delhi, it was all voluntary effort. So you can't give a exact figure for this kind of voluntary work. But obviously, as far as the resources are concerned, it's around 700 crores, the total material and all the masonry work cost. But the significance is more than the cost, you know, because even for the Emirat of United Arab, it's a showcase for being a multicultural society. I think that's the biggest symbol they have, and that's the message that was articulated by the sons of the Swaminarayan Sampradaya when they first met to get the land for the project. And I think the same articulation was given by our own Prime Minister also way back in 2015. And if you remember correctly, in 2015, August itself, Prime Minister Modi announced that the ruling family is going to give the land for the temple. And then ultimately in 2018, this whole project got started. And it's a free gift. Again, it was given free, the entire land parcel.
Yeah, about 29 acres.
Again, a very interesting thing. The Swaminarayan, this body, the BAPS, they designed 2 types of the temple complex. And ultimately, the ruling family of the UAE, they decided the particular model, and it got constructed in that particular way. So this is the very personal involvement. It's not only the free land gift, but the ultimately and the involvement at each and every level. Same at the UAE and same at the Prime Minister Modi level.
At all levels, all sorts of obstacles were done away with, and sovereign laws have been put in place to ensure this temple remains protected even in the future. Even after the time of the current Amir and the current times into the future, there are sovereign laws that have been put in place so that nobody harms this temple. And that's interesting. Rajesh is saying that even the design, the choice was done by the family, the first family of the UAE. They were there and two options were presented and they decided on the final design. Very interesting details. Siddhant Mishra is still with us. Just quickly getting an update from him, and before we go back to Ambassador Kanwal Sibal on this. Siddhant, what's the, oh, it's looking beautiful behind you. It's all, the lights are on.
I would try to establish that for our viewers, Anand. Perhaps we are at the stairs of the temple, and we are perhaps slowly and gradually going upwards as security protocols are being eased out. And we would try to bring report from the Sanctum Sanctorum also in some time from now. But right now, since Prime Minister is around, it is likely to do a speech and address the BAPS devotees. So still there are certain protocols in place. It's a beautiful temple, Anand, and as Brajesh ji was highlighting, that the maps were approved both from the Prime Minister's office and here from the royal family. And perhaps this is the reason that there are stone carvings, beautiful stone carvings depicting the theme of Vasudev Kutumbakam, word is one family, which talks about other cultures and other religions also. The wall carvings also talks about the achievements of UAE as a country. All the popular monuments and buildings are also carved on the walls. So, you know, the diaspora in UAE is multicultural, represents the multicultural society. And perhaps that is something what is being reflected here on the walls of the temple. Beautifully carved, Anand. And it is something which one should come to Abu Dhabi and see, irrespective of their belief, because this is going to be one place which is going to be the hot cake, irrespective of the religious belief, for many of the tourists. And even the government of UAE also understands it very well, because the way it is made is unprecedented, and Anand. And with the theme of Vasudev Kutumbakam, with the waters from Ganga and Jamuna have been brought in here to fill the ponds. There are cow carvings, there are elephant carvings, there are camel carvings, okay, and then there is one divine eye. There's one Triveni corner which has been developed. So, you know, the Indian culture, the Islamic culture, and many other cultures have been brought in together to build this temple, and it has been very rightly represented, Anand. And trust me, you know, whoever comes, irrespective of religion and belief, will love this place. And this is a wonder in itself, Anand, that UAE has got today.
Well, phenomenal. You're at a place which marks history. It's a historic moment, Siddhant, and savor it, remember it, because of the fact that Ambassador Sibal will also underline that this marks a significant shift, a very, very big shift. And everybody's been touching upon it. Ambassador Sibal, if you could elaborate on how important is this, that somebody in the UAE not just grants the land, but also protects the monument that's been built over there, and they're involved in the design and how it eventually looks also.
I think this is absolutely remarkable. It's a very impressive show of open-mindedness. I mean, you know the relationship between Islam and what you might call idolatry. And here, in the heart of Abu Dhabi, you have idols, you have the deities, and the local population will be exposed to them. And this has a very powerful message in terms of acceptance of diversity, acceptance of different religions, equality of religions. And I think it is going to have a lot of pushback with regard to the kind of Hindu phobia that is developing, especially in the West, which is also promoted by sections of our own society. So when you have UAE accepting Hinduism as part of today their national life, it has international resonance, even within the United Nations system. And we are, as you know, confronting these difficulties in American universities and elsewhere about attacks on Hinduism and Hindutva. And who is the person who has inaugurated the temple? He is the icon of Hindutva, if you like. That is being Hindutva that is being attacked by so many lobbies. It sends a very powerful message to elements in our own Muslim community about acceptance. And it has regional implications in terms of Pakistan. I mean, Pakistan is in a different trajectory altogether with radicalization and everything else. And here they find that the countries they were long associated with which they had very close relations based on Islamic networks, is open-minded, is broadening, is opening up, it is establishing ties with India even in the religious sphere. And this actually, in a sense, isolates them in terms of their own mental attitudes towards India and Hinduism and Hindutva and everything else. So these are multiple messages that are coming with regard to the guarantee that has been given, the sovereign guarantee that has been given, that is intended to give this assurance that if there is any change in the system ever, the temple will not be touched. So this kind of guarantee, which is political in nature, I think it's very, very important. And finally, we have been in the past criticized that we are not doing enough religious diplomacy. So what has happened here is now part of our religious diplomacy. And vis-a-vis the Islamic world, I think there are multiple messages there.
Brilliantly put there, Kanwal Sibalji. You must write this. You must pen whatever you have just said. Please pen it for us, and we'd proudly put it out on News18.com or on First Post, wherever you choose. But that was beautifully articulated. Thank you so much, Ambassador Sibal. I just want to quickly ask Yogi Trivedi, what time are we expecting the Prime Minister's address? Is it any time now, or is there or is it in a few minutes?
The Prime Minister's address is ongoing as we speak right now. I can hear it from a distance. Of course, it's in a different part of the campus, but I can hear his voice, and he's getting ready to address the audience, or just starting to address the audience, I should say. Again, that comes at the end of the entire program. He came in, he was greeted by the senior Swamis, he met some of the Shilpis, the people who were responsible for carving out the Mandir, and then of course members of the various different fractions of the Hindu community here in the Emirates, before then doing the Sandhya Arti, or the evening Arti of the Murtis in the central shrine, before heading out into the assembly hall, where he is getting ready to address the assembly now.
Well, we've got
right there.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is just about to speak. What are we going to expect from him in terms of message? Is there going to be a tribute to Pramukh Swamiji, because 1997 he had dreamt of this, Rajeshji, before he speaks?
To have you visit.
In fact, when Pramukh Swami Maharaj was in Bahrain in 1997, then he thought about a temple in Abu Dhabi, and just imagine, in those days it was even difficult to imagine that a Hindu temple will finally going to evolve in Abu Dhabi. So obviously he was a visionary, great visionary. Obviously he was a philosopher, and the most unique thing about himself, it is a unique record in the name of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. His name entered into the Guinness Book of World Records to construct maximum number of Hindu temples across the globe. So the Hindu temples are there in London, the Robbinsville temple you talked about in New Jersey,
so 1,500 temples overall of the BAPS.
And all kind of, and maximum number of Sikhar Baddha temples, the traditional Nagar style temples.
Temples.
Yeah.
So that's something, that's the reason why Pramukh Swami Maharaj holds such a close place. But more importantly, the influence that he's wielded on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. A very interesting insight that he actually broke down on that on the 15th of August 2016. Can you take us through that? 13th August 2016, Pramukh Swami Maharaj passed on. After that, Rajeshji.
In fact, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, basically his Samadhi, it was in the Sarangpur area of Gujarat. Basically, it's a district called Bhopal. And He passed away on the 13th of August 2016. And as per tradition, Prime Minister has to address the Independence Day speech at the Red Fort. And obviously before that, he was not supposed to depart from Delhi. But just after addressing his Independence Day communication, in fact, his address from the ramparts of the Red Fort, he directly went towards the airport and he reached Sarangpur and Bhotavad, where the Pramukh Swami Samadhi was going to happen in next few days. And while addressing the audience there, he broke down, and his exact words were कि प्रमुख स्वामी क्या बोलना चाहिए और क्या नहीं बोलना चाहिए, इन दोनों के बारे में मुझे बताते थे, हर मुश्किल की घड़ी में मुझे गाइड करते थे. तो दिस वाज द स्पेशल बॉन्ड ऑफ Prime Minister Modi with late Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and precisely that was the special spiritual bond which is reflected in the very close personal association and attention towards making of this great temple in Abu Dhabi.
Yes, and on that note, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to speak in just about 3 minutes, just enough time for us to take a very, very short break so that we have uninterrupted coverage of from Abu Dhabi when we come back. Do stay with us.